the moon in Scorpio. Thank you so much for being here. Aquarius, the air sign, Scorpio, the water sign. I'd like to think of that combination as an electrical shock. Let's see. Let's see what it brings. What has it brought? Where is it located in your astrological chart? Is the question. Follow along as I share with you some of the secrets of the ancient wisdom. Background music. Imagine background music. Background music. Where are you? Get in here. Background music. You're up. Come on, background music. Where are you? You're up. Aquarius is a character trait of Aquarius is the truth. I think of this scripture, what comes to mind, because I don't think we think. I don't really think we think. I know it. I know we do think, but we don't think like how we think we think. How we like create thoughts. The system running our activities, the activities that we engage in. Or what the mind becomes used to, and our ideas that come, the information, the vision, are a product of what we engage in. I think I could be wrong. I gotta look at that a little bit later, more in depth. Aquarius is, well, before I say that, each zodiac sign is ruled by a planet. This is a key, an ancient key, wisdom. There's so much in that. There's so much understanding, comprehension that comes from the idea that each zodiac sign is ruled by a planet. For example, Aquarius. Aquarius has two planetary rulers. The two planets that are assigned to Aquarius are Saturn, oh no, Aquarius. Excuse me, Saturn and Uranus. And pull up a chart here so I can get my bearings straight. Not the bearing straight, but my bearings straight. Sun in Aquarius, moon in Scorpio. If you've been following along, you see how this moon, or the moon, the transiting moon, has gone from a new moon in Capricorn all the way to the moon in Scorpio. It's going to get closer and closer to Aquarius, if you will. Closer and closer to the beginnings of truth. Character trait of Aquarius, one of them. Containment of knowledge. Welcome in. Thank you for the likes. Don't be shy. Put your zodiac sign in the comments. I'm live here. And as I'm sharing with you the information, incorporate your zodiac sign into what it is that I'm doing. Interpretation. Thank you so much. It's a great time to engage in some knowledge that you put off to the side in the past. Do a deep dive. It's important to revisit truths, ancient truths, and as such for awareness. I'm of the mind that one of our missions, sidebar, I'm of the mind that one of our missions for being here is to learn, to grow, to expand, not necessarily in height, not necessarily in mass, but mental exploration, mental growth, for real. Thank you so much. So I want to go real quick. I feel like doing this here. Symbolism here, right? In the innermost wheel, these symbols here, what do they mean? They are showing you the relationships between planets. This line, this blue line that shown here, is showing you that the moon in Scorpio is making an aspect with Saturn in Pisces and Neptune in Aries. Blue lines are harmonious aspects. So there's a conversation. We can look at that as a conversation happening between emotions and maturity, emotions and spirituality, how we feel about our beliefs, how we feel about structure, about discipline. I'm not going to go into each one. Maybe I will. Not sure. But that's what these lines are. These lines are symbols of and showing the conversations that two planets are having one with another. I'm going to give it one of the shifts. We'll do one more. Mercury in Pisces. Here. Looks like there's a red line going to the south node. South node has to do with things from the past. Mercury has to do with our understanding, our curiosity, our mindset. And so there's a red line. Red lines are challenging, if you will. So there's a little bit of an energy of challenge by going back into the past. That's interesting and being overly critical of the past. Not for nothing. That's pretty interesting. Right now is not the time for that. So we have these blue lines and the red lines in here, and it shows the conversations that planets are having one with another. Right after the lines in the middle of the circle, we have these numbers, and they're in sequential order, not for nothing, and for something. After one is two, after two is three, after three is four, five, six, seven, after seven is eight, nine, 10, after 10, 11, then 12, and that's the end. And then we start over again. One, the Ouroboros, the snake biting its tail, if you will. After the end, the tail, then comes the bite. One. And this is showing a cycle that life is cyclical. Cyclical, not Sickle. Cyclic. Sickle or LE. Depends on how you want to English it. But it's actually CYCLICAL. Cyclic. Full. A cycle in layman's terms. And then right after the numbers here, we have these symbols, which kind of mimic the outer symbolism. This is Aquarius. It's repeated because it's showing you that Pluto's in Aquarius, Mars is in Aquarius, the midheaven is in Aquarius, the sun is in Aquarius, Venus is in Aquarius. And that right there is called a stellium. We call that a stellium, which means more than two planets in a sign. More than two planets in a sign. Excuse me. Four planets in this sign. Four planets and a critical point, the midheaven. Not for nothing. Mercury just left here. There were five planets in Aquarius. What does this mean? It means that there's an overload. I don't want to say overload. Overload is not really accurate. What's more accurate is that there's a condensation of energy, a multiplicity of different energies inside of Aquarius, bringing focus and amplifying the energy of Aquarius, which is knowledge, truth, revolutionary themes. We can go back over the course of the past 21 days and we can see across the world collectively some revolutionary themes, not for nothing. People defending their life, engaged for the truth. And what is the truth? if you will, not for nothing and for something. We also have Mercury and Pisces here. We have Mercury, Pisces, and Saturn in Pisces, not for nothing and for something. That's a stellium. That's two or more planets in the sign is a stellium. You got a stellium in Aquarius, condensation, amplification of knowledge. We have a stellium in Pisces, condensation, amplification of belief systems, and our emotions, our inner emotions, what we believe in. Koi Goddess, how are you? Thank you so much for being here. I'm over here on YouTube. Come through. I was waiting for a Koi Goddess. Hurry. Same name, same lab coat, same. Um, I was calling myself brown face, brown face, but it's really like a brownish red. Honestly, I could be colorblind. Don't believe me, you know. Um, and if you look at TikTok, my complexion on TikTok and my complexion on YouTube completely different. Interesting. TikTok's is a little almost like the TikTok camera is better, but how can the TikTok camera be better than the YouTube camera if it's the same phone or similar phone? Excuse me. Anyway, um, come on over here to YouTube. You're going to see a chart, an astrological chart, and I'm talking about some of the basics of the symbolism in the chart. You're going to love it. Hurry. You got 0 likes over here. You need to even it out. Who is this? Jesus. Did you come up here on purpose or was that an accident? Jesus. Jesus. King. You have no followers. I don't think so. Come on over here to YouTube. If your name is Jesus, I'd love to talk to you, Jesus. I've been wanting to talk to you for ever since I was young, a youth. Let you up? No, I don't want to let you up. I'm over here on YouTube. Come on over here to YouTube. I'll let you comment on YouTube. Or you can ask your questions here. Maybe I'll let you up. Maybe I'll let you up after I get through this explanation of symbolism. I'm on Aquarius. I talked about stellium in Aquarius. Talked about this not for nothing and for something else at the same time. I want to tell you that Jesus is in Aquarius right now. I look at Jesus as symbolism and parallel it with the sun. So, not for nothing and for something at the same time. Jesus, I got Jesus, one of the Jesuses, one of the many symbols of Jesus here on my shirt here. And I associate in my world, in my imagination, Jesus is the sun, savior. So the sun saved me, especially on a cold night. I'm camping and I'm outside and it's a little chilly. The sun saves me. This warmth, not for nothing. It saves me with this beautiful music that comes from the bird. Anyway, we'll get a little more into Jesus and the sun at a later video. After Aquarius is always Pisces. After Pisces is then Aries. And Aries, we have Neptune here. And we know that it's Aries because of the symbolism here. This in this charting system is showing you that Aries is the zodiac sign that Neptune is transiting or visiting. The word transiting is like a visitation, not for nothing. And so it's showing you here, and it's also showing you here that Aries is in this sector of the sky. This is Chiron. It looks like a skeleton key. Not for nothing. Don't get nervous about skeleton keys. There's nothing wrong with them. It's not even a key, but it looks like a key to me. It points to our healing in Aries, healing from impulse or acting too rashly sometimes. And I recognize sometimes that in my experiences, um, people that I come in contact with, they want to hurry up and rush into sharing with me their belief system. That's interesting there. It's interesting with Neptune being a planet of beliefs and Aries being a sign of impulse. We get this energy of belief systems. And hurry, you got to hurry up. And I don't know. We're going to have to be mindful of the aspects that are created with Neptune and Aries and the other 3 cardinal signs, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, and these times of the year, summer, beginning of summer, beginning of fall, beginning of winter. Again, now that Neptune was in Aries, we got like 14 years of this. Good morning. Welcome in if you just got here. You're here from TikTok. Thank you. Forgive me. Koi. Like the live. Be sure to like the live if you're here. It's easy. It's one way to show support. It's like giving $1 for the tithe and offering basket now that we're talking about Yeshua and the Son. Moving forward in Taurus, after Chiron is Taurus, or the planet Uranus in Taurus, rather. It's going retrograde. Did it go in retrograde or did it go direct? It's gone retrograde for quite some time. It was in Gemini. It's direct now. Wow. It's direct. Uranus is the planet of knowledge. It's actually the planet that rules Aquarius. Not for nothing. In modern rulership, Uranus rules Aquarius. What does this mean? It means that there's a connection between the zodiac sign Aquarius and wherever Uranus is. We can connect those two energies together. How do we do that? Well, we connect them by artistically creating sentences. This is where the man-made stuff comes in. It's where the man-made and woman-made, not for nothing. You can't forget about the woman. Very important feature to this existence here. Extremely important. Not for nothing. To me. Anywho, Uranus is direct. It was in Gemini and then it dipped back into Taurus. I think that when that happens, it's kind of like a lesson. It's like the universe saying, hey, you didn't get enough of this. I want to give you a little bit more. Uranus goes back into Taurus to give us the truth about our values. It doesn't give us anything, but it symbolizes and can be interpreted as values and knowing more about how valuable an individual is. 666 to 777 How are you? Welcome. Hi. Lady Libra, how are you? I'm over here on YouTube having a blast. Same name. I'm pointing here because it's the same name. If you put an at symbol and squeeze these letters together, the Cosmic Alchemist, you'll see this lab coat and you'll see this brownish reddish face, similar to mine, if you will. Hurry, come over. I was waiting for you. All right, so this is Uranus and Taurus for you Tauruses, right? Learning. Uranus has a learning angle. All these planets have to do with learning, learning the energy. Uranus is a learning energy about knowledge, about truth. It's a planet that symbolizes realizations. Right? Taurus have been realizing their worth, realizing how to spend, how to save, how to conserve. TV or movies? I haven't done any TV shows. I haven't been asked. No one's asked me. No producers have reached out to me. What do you suggest? Should I reach out to them or what? Hey, I want to be in a movie. Art by Astro Muse said that. I can be in a movie. Help me out. The Lady Libra, look at that. Welcome back. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Um, Thank you so much. Where was I? Uranus, the truth of your worth and value. After Taurus is always Gemini. The thing about this chart is that the signs on the outermost rim always stay in sequential order. You'll always find after Taurus, Gemini. You'll always find Cancer after, excuse me, yeah, you'll find Gemini after Taurus. You'll find Cancer after Gemini. You'll find Leo after Cancer. This is how it goes. So after Uranus, we're going to get to that after I do the symbolism. Uranus and Taurus, Jupiter and Cancer. Jupiter is retrograde. And Jupiter is going back towards the zodiac sign of Gemini. Almost like, even though the energy speaks to learning about our emotions, emotional intelligence, it makes me think symbolically that we can add in the idea of Gemini or Gemini and the characteristics of Gemini with this learned energy or this learning energy or this philosophical energy when it comes with reading and books and information, keeping yourself informed. Okay. After Jupiter in Cancer, we have the South Node in Virgo. It's shown retrograde here. The South Node always goes retrograde, not for nothing. And it's always paired with the North Node. Looks like a horseshoe. You can always remember the North Node and the South Node because it looks like a horseshoe. And it's not a planet, it's a critical point. It's the moon's nodes, not for nothing. It's where the moon rises and sets. And so it looks like a couple, 5, 6 days ago, the moon passed the critical point of setting, right? Gone onto the underworld and was approaching the North Node over the course of the next 7 days. And we'll get into that in a later video, but that can speak volumes when you are looking at your chart and incorporating that information into your chart. Um, so after the South Node in Virgo is past life. The South Node points to the past life, and it points to things that you've already learned, right? Energetically, we've already learned collectively about the details and criticism. It's not necessarily the time for criticism and analyzing things overly. In everything, you still have to use detail, but this is an overall energy that says that maybe, perhaps, that there's a downfall by being too critical. And maybe it's a reaching for or balancing out the belief system. And it's been this way for quite some time. The North Node and the South Node stay in a zodiac sign for approximately 18 months, right? Like a year and a quarter. Then we got the moon in Scorpio. The moon doesn't really do too good in Scorpio. Jupiter enjoys being in Cancer. It's having a good time. The moon in Scorpio, not so much, because it's an intense place. And it brings intensity. It doesn't bring anything, but it symbolizes intensity of the emotions, extreme desire. Extreme Scorpio desires Scorpio and needs the moon. Not for nothing. It's transformative. It's a rebirthing energy. And then after Pluto, after the moon in Scorpio, we have Pluto. Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio, but say I made that connection through the nervous system of, my nervous system, a neural pathway that already knows that Pluto rules Scorpio. Interesting. Pluto in Aquarius here, which is transformation through knowledge. We got about 20 years collectively for this energy here. B, welcome. Thank you so much for the smiles. Smiling back at you. Thank you for being here. I'm over here on YouTube. Same name, same brown coat, same brownish, reddish face. You're going to love it. I got a chart pulled up. So you can stay at TikTok and YouTube at the same time. It's fine. That's fine. After Pluto in Aquarius, we have Mars in Aquarius, defending and activating, taking action with knowledge and truth. The MC here, this is the midheaven. It's the highest point in the sky per this location. You'll see the midheaven in different charts move between the 10th house and the 9th house. It's a locational thing. I be knowing. That's a crappy name. I appreciate you. Thank you for the follow. I'm over here on YouTube, just in case you want to come over here. Same name, same lab coat, same brownish reddish face. Okay. And then we got the sun in Aquarius, and then we have Venus in Aquarius. The sun is is the beholder. I've been saying it's Jesus. It reminds me of Jesus, Savior. And wherever Jesus is, metaphorically, not trying to bring anybody to the front of the congregation to be dunked in water here, but the symbolism there. The sun is the light. When the sun rises, even though it really doesn't rise, it appears to rise. It's actually the earth turning. But as the sun appears to rise, it brings light. Birds are like, oh, wow, the sun's here. Let's chirp. In that same context, the sun, when it's in a zodiac sign, It chirps. The birds that chirp are the Aquarian birds or the Aquarian energy. It brings light to that energy, is what I'm trying to say. Knowledge and truth. And then we have Venus here in Aquarius at 29 degrees, getting ready, preparatory for Pisces to ingress into Pisces. Is that today? Maybe tomorrow, maybe in approximately 24 hours, maybe 12 hours, maybe. We'd have to look at that a little more in detail. So that's the symbolism. I've talked about the inner wheel. I've talked about the numbers after the lines in the inner wheel. I've talked about the symbolism of the planets. We went through all that. And on the outer brim, we have the zodiac signs in sequential order. They'll always be in this order. After Aries is Taurus, after Taurus is Gemini, after Gemini is Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, and then it goes again. We got the Ouroboros, the snake biting its tail. Repitan. See that? Repitan for it in English. Repeating. It repeats. The cycle repeats like our life cycles, like our birthday. It's cyclical. From one birthday to the next, it can be symbolized as the Ouroboros, the snake biting its tail. It repeats again. Karma, that makes me think of karma. When we talk about karma, they talk about what goes around comes around. Energetically, we're perpetually in a forever state of karma, or at least in this karmic circle and cyclical happening. It's always karmic. It's karmic even when it doesn't feel karmic. It's karmic. Now, let's define the word karma a little bit. I'm going to use Google because I'm starting to feel a certain kind of way about ChatGPT. We'll get into that in a later video, but starting to feel some kind of way about ChatGPT. But even though ChatGPT is already embedded into Google anyway, but it's all good. You've been feeling it more intense lately? Wow. Where have you been feeling it more intensely? Let's look at this. Let's see if we can merge life's experiences with the astrologia and merge them together, and recognize how they're connected. Everything is connected. It appears that things are separate, doesn't it? It appears that way. In my theory, things are connected, and this action of them connecting is a matter of a realization that which is already there, not for nothing. Okay. Thank you so much. You watch your mouth? Interesting. What is the root meaning? What is the root meaning of the word of the word of the word karma? Let's get it here. Are you ready? The root meaning of the Sanskrit word. It's a Sanskrit word. Now we got to look and see what the hell Sanskrit is for a review, a refresher. Action, deed, or work. This action is always, we're in a forever action of the sun going around in this circle cyclically. Not for nothing, if that's what the word means from this computer thing. I don't know. This computer, we might have to check some sources from different sources for karma. Right? We might even have to go into different languages and see what karma is. You want good karma? The idea of good karma and bad karma is perspective. If karma be action and deed or work, right? It's basically what's good work to you could be bad work to me. What's a good deed to you could be a bad deed to me. Me sharing with you that there's a connection between Jesus and the Son, that might be a deed or an action, and me speaking about a piece of information that could be looked at as good or bad. All depends on one's perspective. It's derived from the Sanskrit root to do, to make, or perform. There's a constant performance. And the Proto-Indo-European, which I don't know what the Proto-Indo is. That before Indian European? What is that? I have to look that up. I think I know what it means, but I want to know what it means. I want to know the truth. I've been saying to myself, I've been applying life's experiences to this astrological chart. I've been doing this for quite some time here, quite a while, and it has helped me out significantly. It refers fundamentally to any physical, verbal, or mental action. So what I'm doing right now is karma. This is mental action. This is action in motion as a deed or work. I've been knowing when you said polarity, elaborate. What do you mean polarity? Do you want to come up and talk about it? You don't have to show your camera. I know some of you might not have your makeup on yet. That's fine. We don't need to see you. It's the voice is all we need. Let me get a little sip of my tea that's cold now. We're going to warm it up in a minute here. Thank you so much for the likes. If you enjoy the content, I've been coming here on the weekdays between 3 and 4 a.m., more towards the 4 o'clock time. I'm going to give myself that window. I'm working on timing, talking about the chart, freestyling with a guide directed by the sun and the moon, if you will, which I haven't even gotten into yet. I was waiting until we get at least 10 thumbs up and 30,000 double taps over here on YouTube, but it's all good. We're going with the flow. We're doing what we love. We're doing karmic actions here. We're doing karma. We're karma in. They say life be life in, karma be karma in. Literally, an action, deed, or work. We're doing action. We're taking action here. On comprehending. Who is this? You want to come in here and talk to me? Come on in here. Let's see. Did you come in here? Did you raise your hand on purpose? I don't want to bring you up if you didn't mean it. Did you mean it? Question mark. Question mark. Thank you so much for the karma, cyclical action. And okay, you want to come up? Okay, come on up. Let me take my headphones off so YouTube can hear you. YouTube, you want to hear the conversation? You want to eavesdrop? This is a good eavesdrop. A good eavesdrop. Ba-da-bop. All right. I'm not gonna give you a whole lot of time. I be knowing. Come on in here. Ladies and gentlemen, I be knowing. Oh, hang on a second. My volume. Let me try that again. Ladies and gentlemen, I be knowing. Welcome. Good morning for if you do good mornings. How are you?
I'm okay. I wasn't.
Only okay? Only okay?
Oh no, I'm great.
Okay,
actually.
there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I be knowing that is great. Let's talk about this. Hang on, a sound effect for it. Hang on a second. Wait a minute.
That's the one.
Great and okay are different. You be knowing. That's a great thing.
Absolutely.
Forgive me for interrupting you. What were you gonna say?
Well, I'm not gonna stay long. I was talking about when you were saying the way the karmatic cycle works. Like it may work out in this person's favor, but not in this person's favor. So I was talking about polarity, because it's like two opposing energies, but it's like a balance. So I was saying it in reference to when you said that.
I see what you're saying. Thank you for sharing that. I actually did you get here when I read the root meaning of the word karma?
Yeah, I heard you when you said that part too.
What did you hear me say? What did you hear me say that the root meaning of the word karma means?
When you said, oh man, I was because I'm in the middle of doing other stuff, trying to tiptoe around the house.
That's fine. With this is
it's
not.
like
this
3
is not.
o'clock in the morning.
This is not. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning over here too. It's not a test.
Okay.
It's not a test. You hit. Relax.
Yeah, but
What do you remember?
I know what I know I resonated with what you said. I didn't memorize what you said, but
Can I read it again to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I looked up the root meaning of the word karma, and I'm into looking up the root meaning of words because I find out so much information from looking at the root meaning of words. And I do that especially when I'm into astrology, and because a lot of words come up, these symbols have meaning, and so I want to know what the root meaning of the word is so I'm not led astray.
Right.
The root meaning of the Sanskrit word karma, and I came to Sanskrit, and I've heard what Sanskrit is before, and I've glazed over that. Not glazed in the other glaze, but passed by. Let's use pass by because glaze means something else nowadays, right? I passed over it, and so when I get to that point, sidebar, it's important for me to even look up, or it would benefit me to look up the word Sanskrit so I know what Sanskrit means. Anywho, the root meaning of the Sanskrit word karma is action, deed, or work. I see what you're saying in regards to the polarity, because an action can be either a good action, quote unquote, or a bad action. So that polarity there is what might came up for you. I'm not sure. But karma at its root means action, deed, or work. And so I talked about karma because I was speaking of the south node and the north node as the critical points in the chart and the place of karma. But then I was thinking about it, or what came to mind was the word karma, and that what we think the word karma means and what it actually means, there's so much more to it. And quite simply, it's basically sharing with us what an action is, what a deed is, what work is. Are you with me?
Yes.
What are you processing now? What after that?
It's still the same thing, because if I'm winning, somebody has to lose. Everything is duality. Everything.
I agree with you. I agree with you. If you're winning, somebody has to lose somewhere for sure, and that's an action. So that's karma.
Right.
That's karma
Right.
explained.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you so much, IB Noah, for coming on up here. Where are you, in Texas?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, in Texas.
How did I know? How did I know? It's the
Where
accent.
are you?
I'm upstate New York. I'm not
Okay,
upstate New
okay.
York. I'm in New York. I'm in New York City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for following and coming up and sharing with us.
absolutely.
I also am on YouTube simultaneously. You're more than welcome to come over there too if you're up early in the
Okay.
mañana, in the morning.
Okay, and I'll give you a follow. Have a great rest of your rising.
You too. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, let's plug this back in. Do you know how to disconnect, or you want me to help you?
I got it.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay.
All right. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I be knowing. She be knowing, don't she? Do she be knowing, or do she? Anna Brogo, thank you so much for the hand heart. Appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, Anna Brogo. I'm so excited for my switchboard. Anyway, let's get this back in here. Sound quality, testing, testing. Let's turn this up a little bit. Let's turn this up. Testing, testing. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? And is that Indira? Is that one for an eye? I shouldn't have went out. I shouldn't have went out. Did I go? Am I out still? Testing, 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 testing. Testing, 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 testing. It is Indira for I. I get confused with the numbers and the um letters and how y'all do the number letter thing. I don't know. I don't know. I think the three is an E, then I think sometimes it's the other thing. Speaking of Sanskrit, I'm so thankful that you reminded me of that. Let's look at Sanskrit. Let's look at it. At this time of the show, we're looking at the root meaning of words, and this ties into the energy of Aquarius. Aquarius is truth. Not for nothing and for something at the same time. Aquarius is symboled as, it looks like water, and maybe it is water. It is water, right? However, when we look a little bit deeper into the word, the meaning, the root meaning of the word Aquarius, we find that it means water bearer.
What is a water bear? Well, someone who holds a container that goes and fetches water or goes to get water. Have you looked up Lady Libra? That's an interesting feature. Thank you so much for that. I hadn't come to that yet. Let's try that. After Sanskrit. What is the root meaning of the word Sanskrit? Important. The root meaning of the word Sanskrit is perfected. Ooh, Mufasa. Perfected. The South Node is in Virgo. Virgo is a sign of perfection. And the South Node, which is the moon's descending node, is in the sign of perfection. Refined, well constructed, or adorned. Ooh. What is that actor's name? Ernest? I don't know if his name is Ernest. Ernest Goes to Camp. I got that from, for those of you who know about Ernest going to camp. Anywho, it is derived from the combining of the prefix Sam, meaning together, Sam or Sanskrit. See, I don't know about this. Google's is merging forces with AI. I don't know. We have to check our sources. Don't take this as truth yet. We got to look at it. But if it does mean perfected, refined, well constructed, or adorned, ooh, somebody else look it up if you could, if you will. If you have access to a computer, you don't have to. It is derived from the combining of the prefix "sam," meaning together or completely. I wonder if that has anything connection to Uncle Sam. Is Sam meaning an uncle that brings together um, our monies? That's interesting. I don't know. We got to look. See, we got more research to do. We got the truth shall set us free, right? And seeking and finding. I got so excited talking about the word Aquarius and it meaning water bearer and the symbol of water showing that that's what is connected to Aquarius, but it's actually the containment of water because it's the man or the woman pouring water out. But water and the urn and the container, those symbolisms in the sign of Aquarius lead us to group activity, networking. And if and in this symbol is a symbol of the water that the water bear holds, then it symbolizes purity. And not for nothing and for something at the same time, when we do find out a piece or realize a piece of information in life, it's almost like we become washed. Like knowledge purifies us in a sense. I'm just saying. I'm just, being artistic or synthesizing and processing the symbolism in the words and putting them together. I'm just doing karmic things. I'm doing karmic things. For those that missed it, you might want to rewind, watch the beginning of the video. This Okay, meaning so it is derived from the combining of the prefix "sam," meaning together or completely, and the root "kurt" or "krit," meaning made together, done, or formed. So Sanskrit means a perfected form or done together or done with completeness. That's interesting. Doing together, karmic. If the North Node in Pisces is a karmic energy and the moon's ascending node, as we ascend, as we experience life, that we acknowledge what is being made in the realm of beliefs. That's interesting. We gotta work with that. So literally put together. So putting together our belief system. So we're directed towards putting together a belief system. Ooh, not necessarily a dogmatic belief, but I'm of the mind that it has to do with the believing in oneself. And I'm keeping it to the chart here and the symbolism and how the zodiac sign Pisces is in between Aquarius and Aries. Ooh, right? What are we putting together? The North Node is a critical point. It's not a planet. It's showing us that there's an energy
We can interpret that as a putting together of the beliefs from knowledge and towards the self of who we actually are, the I am. Pisces is the I believe, Aquarius is the I know. The belief is the midpoint of knowing who you are. Ooh, we started bars. We started creating bars early in the mañana, early in the morning. Perfected or purified. Ooh, so the North Node and the South Node have to do with purification, a purification through health, right? We should have already, not should have. I'm on a quest to refrain from saying what I should or somebody else should or shouldn't do. However, the South Node, which is the moon's descending node, symbolizes a purification process from the last life or the things that we already are aware of when it comes to um, details and analysis or health. And so now that we're here with this karmic action of the North Node and the South Node, if you will, we can look at how Virgo is known to be analytical. We can recognize that in some schools of thought, people say Pisces is toxic. Okay, let's go with the shadow side of Pisces, right? If Pisces is toxic, then Virgo would be the analysis and the details to bring Pisces back to life and to heal Pisces with a health routine. Because Virgo is about routines. Not for nothing, Virgos are, or I'll say Virgos have um, some of Pisces nature inside of them, in that they're both in opposition to one another. And signs that are in opposition to one another, it's kind of like one hand wash the other, right? So if Virgo is health, right, then Pisces could be the subconscious or it could be sleep or rest, right? Sleep, rest, subconscious, toxicity is the shadow side. The sunny side of Pisces would be rest, spirituality, beliefs, believing or resting in order for health and clarity of mind. That's interesting. We can fine tune that and refine that a little bit more, but these are the beginning stages. What I'm trying to say is that it's beneficial to and to look at the root meaning of words, and it builds upon one's interpretation. Are you with me? Yahshua, the Son. Okay. Um, what else do we have? Okay, so now let's get into it. All right. I want to spend like a couple minutes here with this energy here of the sun and the moon. One of the reasons why I created this video, because I'm practicing and recognizing the importance of the relationship between the sun and the moon. Not for nothing, because these are the two lights, if you will. The sun is a light and the moon is a light. So, quite simply, the sun is the light of the day and the moon is the light of the night, even though we see the moon in the day sometimes. Not for nothing. But these are the two lights, meaning that they're two significant celestial bodies or planetary energies that bring light to a specific area. The sun in Aquarius brings light to knowledge and awareness, what you're aware of. The moon in Scorpio brings knowledge and awareness to an individual's desires, right? Knowing what you desire, if we were to put it together. And we can create sentences. We can create sentences with this. This is part of the practice. This is the art. And each individual is unique in how they interpret the energies of the symbolism. I think it's so important to have at least a base understanding of key character traits of the zodiac signs and the planets. Not for nothing and for something at the same time. Are you with me? Yeshua is the sun. Um, and so there's a couple additions that we can get from that. There's more to the story when we look at that. not only knowledge and transformation, even. We got knowledge and desire, we got knowledge and transformation, transforming what it is that we desire. We're transforming and desiring knowledge and desiring truth. We can add on to the fact that Scorpio and Aquarius are 90 degrees from one another. That is speaking to the lines here. You see this red line that the moon is making to the sun? It looks like the sun and Venus, it looks like, or the midheaven and the sun. We can figure that out when we look at the aspect grid. There's a grid in some chart systems that show you what the specific aspects of the planet is making to. This is a generalization when you see it in a circle. It's for the trained eye to know what's going on, but sometimes it's challenging when you have a lot of planets clustered and you might need the chart, because I don't know if these two red lines are pointing to the sun and Venus or is pointing to the midheaven and the sun. And that's because this number here, 22 degrees and 20 degrees and 29 degrees. So it's showing there's a conversation between two of these planets in relation to the moon. So what I'm trying to say is that the red lines with the square, these are two squares in the middle of the line, denoting that it's two squares. Squares bring tension, or they symbolize, can be interpreted as tension. So it's a challenge. And I think that challenges and tension is beautiful, stress, if you will. I think stress is beautiful. I think challenge is beautiful in that when we look at the 90-degree aspect in that conversation that's actually happened, is that it equals inevitably growth, right? The tension between knowledge and desire, and our desire for knowledge, is a tense and a stressed conversation energetically that leads to growth, right? It's interesting. Scorpio even can be looked at as on the shadow side. The shadow side of Scorpio can be um, jealousy, jealousy. Interesting. Interesting. We can look at the shadow side of Scorpio, and we can look at how uh I don't know if it's a shadow side, but a character trait of Aquarius could be detachment or friendship, acquaintances, right? So we can put together, recognize that there's a natural stress between friendships and jealousy. Is that a good thing? Is that good karma or is that bad karma? Oh, that's bad because they don't like how I got this on and stuff like that. But pop. Okay, we can look at that karma in that one limelight, and we can also look at it in another limelight that jealousy or jealousy is a stress that leads to growth. Not for nothing. If the parties are willing to accept that stressor as a growth, right? Stressors can make a building crumble, or stressors can define a building and strengthening and making it more upright. What do I mean by that? What I'm trying to say is that the jealousy within a relationship and the stress that it causes can be something that builds the relationship, two people together, or something that pulls two people apart. Interesting. So, another thing that I appreciate about attaching my life experiences to symbolism is that there's principles that naturally are revealed, if you will, when you start looking at it for what it's worth. Are you with me? No, y'all started being over here on TikTok on the low ski. Y'all started having me in listen started having me in the background. Y'all started having me in the background. No, not a double tapping, not a nothing, not a hey, how you doing? Not a there, nothing. Come on now. Come on now. Come on over to YouTube and give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. It's like giving me $1. Similar to it. Because it's support. Anna, and I'm because you're double tapping, I appreciate you. I'm not even talking about you. You're so
Beautiful. Thank you so much for double tapping. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I be knowing down there in the body bodies and the Texas body bodies, double tapping. I appreciate you. Let's go. Let's go. Appreciate y'all. So, what am I trying to say? I want if you didn't get nothing from this video, right? We learned so much here. We learned too much, so much here. This wisdom's not mine. I'm just acknowledging the wisdom that I come in contact with. It's not mine. And I am intentional about bringing this energy, but this energy is I don't know, it's natural. I don't know where it comes from. It might come from Yeshua, the sun. It might come from the sun. You know what I mean? But what I'm trying to say is that I'm a conduit and a messenger sharing with you that the sun in Aquarius is about truth. Maybe it'll benefit me if I come across the word today or somebody says something and I think I know what it means. Maybe I look it up anywho so I can get a deeper meaning, a little more depth. The moon in Scorpio brings a light of depth. You know, we got approximately 8 to 10 hours before Scorpio then turns in, or excuse me, I mean, the wave of energy goes Scorpio, turns into Sagittarius, which turns into Capricorn. That's a forever wave, a forever wave. And so what I'm recognizing is that there's a connection. It's like a wave of water that goes around. You know what I mean? And we can interpret this as cyclic, a cyclic wave. That's probably why they were so in love. The ancients were so in love with the snake because it's like a wave and it moves like a wave. Ah, I see. I see, Daniel-san. Daniel-san sees. But after Scorpio, Scorpio's depth and the intensive emotion, the intensity of emotion, that intensity, oh, it's like a pearl or a crystal or a diamond. It's internal, it's internalized. No one can see it. Wow. And then it turns into a fire and an energy, a fiery, active, energized, enthusiastic, adaptable energy that spreads. Not for nothing. If we use our imagination with the symbolism and the energy, water turns into fire. Some schools of thought. You know, after Pisces, water, then comes fire, Aries, spring, you know, the end of water, the end of water, the end of winter, which we're approaching in approximately 10 days, from air to water to fire to earth. You know, fire turns into earth, if you will. We can look at that. We can be the scientists, we can be alchemists. I call myself the alchemist. We can be the alchemist. Who, Libra, you said look up my name. Let me look up my name real quick for the sidebar. Let's look this up. I know what it means. I think I know what it means, but let's get a deeper meaning. What is the root meaning of the name the cosmic alchemist? Spelled, spelling it Alkhemist. Give me the deep esoteric meaning. Por favor. It didn't get the por favor. The Libra, I seen you. Libra, I got you. Looking it up now. The term alchemist, spelled with a K to emphasize its ancient roots, is rooted in the esoteric belief that humanity can actively participate in the divine transformation of the universe. Come on. Come on it. Come on it. So why am I excited about that? I'm excited about that because we participate in the divine transmutation of the universe. This transmutation, alchemy, turning base metals into gold. I am the base metals. You are the base metals. That's interesting. There's more. It combines the Arabic
the finite article AI, excuse me, al, which means the, with the Egyptian root hem, black land, one who practices, and the suffix ist, one who practices, the black soil, resulting in a deep hidden meaning. Here is the deep esoteric breakdown. So we went esotericism on it, but let's check it out. The root meaning of the one from the black land. Let's go. What are we talking about here? Alchem, derived from the ancient Egyptian word kemet. I'm gonna have to look at that. I don't know if it's Egyptian. I don't know. Now that I've been doing some research and stuff, I don't know. Black land, referring to the fertile mineral. There's a lot of desert. There's a lot of sand over there. I don't know how much black land is over there, but let's. There's a lot. But I'm just saying. I want to keep. That's another thing too. When it comes to truth and the truth setting me free, I'm gonna speak for myself. I recognize that sometimes I got to set aside my preconceived beliefs and preconceived notions and look at it for what it is. Not for nothing and for something at the same time. Zodiac sign Aquarius is about knowledge, it's about truth, it's also about detachment. So, in order to actually realize something, sometimes we have to detach from what we're comfortable or what we're used to in order to see what truth is really there. I'm just saying, not for nothing. Take it with a grain of salt. This is what I'm working with myself. This is what I'm working with myself. I don't know. I don't know if it'll work for you. I don't know. I'm not sure. Try it. Do it in smaller increments, maybe. Not sure. I see you. And dear, I see you. We gotta research it a little bit. I'm not sure. Well, um, you can learn if your mind's not open. It's just a smaller window. It's like trying to get a drink of water through a straw like this. This is closed and you're attached to your preconceived notions. It's even smaller. It's barely, you can barely fit anything in there. Even although I do appreciate this. Uh, anyway, um, you know, when it's open, you can allow a little bit more in. But then you have to close it back up a little bit. It's an opening and closing thing. We'll get into that in a later video. Um, Anywho, let's get into this here. We have derived from the ancient Egyptian word kemet, or KMT, meaning black land, referring to the fertile, mineral, rich soil of the Nile Delta. Okay. Esoteric chem. Esoterically, chem signifies the first matter. Ooh, prima materia, the dark, chaotic, undefined potential of the universe. So the darkness, they kind of throw people off when they put the word chaotic in there. But, but right? The darkness and the stillness. I don't know why they call stillness chaotic. Let's call it chaotic because that's the word that they come up with for undifferentiated matter. It's more so in the undifferentiated matter. If we were to apply that to an individual, the individual, base metals into gold or tapping into one's essence to reveal who one is through energies, if you will, which are the zodiac signs. So it's basically before I was here, I've been here before, but I was looking at more of alchemy or an alchemist as someone who builds a bridge. Wherever you see a bridge, is building a bridge to what you were, to what you were becoming, and so on and so forth. The alchemist, literally the practitioner of the Egyptian science of transformation. I don't know if it's Egyptian. Anywho, we'll take it for what it's worth. We'll take it as a grain of salt. The alchemist is not merely a chemist turning lead into gold, but a practitioner of the great work, magnum opus, the purification of the self, transmutation of self, transforming, right? Through me looking at my experiences and placing them into these compartments, um, I recognize principles and I go through this transformation. Not for nothing. Um, Jeremiah,
Mario, you could have put that message in there. I seen you had some zodiac signs in there. I was just flowing. Here, welcome. Thank you for the subscription and the like. You're more than welcome to put zodiac sign in here. This is the essential. That's what this is. You're not wrong. It's perfect. You're right on time. You're late and you're on time. Duality. The inner crucible, the Anthenor alchemical furnace, is the practitioner's own psyche. Ooh, I didn't even peep. The subject, their own experiences of the fire of conscious awareness to separate, purify, and to recombine their soul. That's one of my features. That speaks to it. The inner crucible. The inner crucible of mastering transformation. Let me read that again. The Anthenor alchemical furnace, in parentheses, is the practitioner's own psyche. Your psyche, my psyche, everyone's psyche, individual psyches. They subject their own experiences to the fire. We talked about fire, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, pop. The I am, the I will, and the I see. That's the fire of consciousness and awareness to separate, purify, and to recombine their soul. So we separate when it comes to knowledge, detaching so that we can see it to form it back together, right? The pulling apart and separating of things to refuse them together in another way for growth, not for nothing. As above, so below. The alchemist understands that the manipulating the microcosm, their own inner world, they affect the macrocosm, the universe. Deep meaning. Okay, all this we have to take with a grain of salt. We're gonna have to get some more sources, but we're looking at the word, the cosmic alchemist, and its esoteric meaning. This is the last one. 3. Deep meaning, the cosmic dimension. Cosmic alchemist, this expands the practice from personal transformation to acting as a co creator within the universe. Not for nothing. Solar fire. It is the ability to cause the solar fire of the spirit to rise within the heart. Ooh. Dissolving material illusions. Ooh. To see reality with the eyes of the spirit, the eye of the tiger. I want to play the song now. Dan, 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 dan. The eye of the tiger. Last bullet point, unveiling perfection. The alchemist is one who uncovers the primordial perfection hidden within the heart of appearances, shifting from a material view to realizing that the essence of the universe is non-material and the essence, the eye of the tiger. In summary, an alchemist is a sacred artist who merges spirit with matter, consciously refining their own soul to align with the divine, thereby transforming the black chaos. I'm going to call black chaos undifferentiated matter because black is not descriptive enough of darkness and what's inside darkness at levels. There's levels of darkness, not for nothing, right? Darkness can be looked at as a state of depression when you're in the dark in your bedroom with the lights turned off. You know, that's like a shadowy place. And then dark can also be looked at as a place of fertility. You know, when you go to sleep and you're in the darkness or you're relaxing from a day, a long day, stressed out, you sit down and you close your eyes. Paradise. Even though you don't see no paradise, you don't have no drink next to you, no lawn chair, no none of that. You know what I'm saying? That darkness is beautiful too, you know? So chaos, I don't know. We'd have to actually look at the root meaning of the word chaos for real. In summary, an alchemist is the sacred artist who merges spirit with matter, consciously refining their own soul to align with the divine, thereby transforming the undifferentiated matter instead of black chaos of life into divine goal. We don't have to say black chaos. Let's look at the root meaning of chaos real quick. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Are you enjoying yourself? Could black chaos mean creation? I be knowing you started. We started. Let's look at chaos, the root meaning of the word chaos, and then the root meaning of the word black. What is the root meaning of the word chaos? Give me the deeper meaning of this one. Thank you for the double taps. We got 9 double tap. We got 9 thumbs up over here. Let's go. Almost 10. Thank you so much. Appreciate y'all. Okay, the root meaning of chaos stems from the ancient Greek chaos. So now when we get into language, what I'm also learning with the Sun in Aquarius and truth that when it comes to language, we got to really look at it when they, it does when they say that stems from the ancient Greek, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the origin of it. We got to find the original people in order to get to the origin. Not for nothing. Even though there's original people in Greece, you see what I'm saying? We got to do a little bit more research. We have to exhaust our remedies, you know, meaning utilize everything that we have, find more sources. Not for nothing. But for now, we're going to go with this. Stems from the ancient Greek chaos, meaning a gapping void, chasm, or abyss, derived from a pi root, meaning to yawn or gap wide open. Oh, a yawn? Chaos means to yawn? A gaping void? See what I'm saying? Chaos? Come on. Because now we're not even explaining that. That doesn't explain what it is. But let me not get too excited. Let's read this here. Deeper meaning and context of chaos. Mythological and cosmological void. A void and chaos. A little different there. Let's listen. In Greek mythology, we're at the Greeks again. I don't know. We got to take this with a grain of salt. We got to look for other cultures as well, see where we can find the commonality. Chaos was not just a mess, but the initial yawning void, often linked with darkness or water. A little different now because when we go to the depths of water, if I were to close my eyes and a stink would drop, let's say I had a rock on a heavy, big rock, a rock that would just snatch me down to the bottom of the ocean. All right. For metaphorically, just for shits and giggles here. Let's do that for shits and giggles. I'm going to swim to the top after. I'm going to be okay. Plug my nose, submerge, and go all the way down to the bottom of the water. I'm in this darkness. I even got my eyes closed. Even if I had a set of goggles on where my eyes were open, I still would be in this darkness. And at the same time that I'm in that darkness, I'm also feeling the water. The water is also passing me. Maybe a shark or a stingray passes me, and I feel that. And I'm, whoa, what's that? No, I'm scared. I'm at the bottom of the ocean. My point is that the water and the waves and the currents that I'm feeling while I'm in that darkness is also an energy too. Is that chaotic or is that something else too? I'm just saying, just to give a visual because there's layers to the darkness. Remember I said earlier, layers to the darkness. I don't know. I'm just talking shit here. I'm just shooting my just talking here and looking and researching. I'm seeking. I'm working on detachment here. In order to know something, there's a detachment. Just empty room with nothing that's looking for something. Yeah, but is the empty room nothing? That's my point. There's layers to the no thingness because there's things in no thing. After no is thing, no thing, no thing to the eye because there's still molecules and atoms there. We're gonna get into it here, and then we're gonna end the video because we're gonna have to do a little more research on this. In Greek mythology, chaos is not just a mess, but the initial yawning void, often linked with darkness or water, from which the beings, Gaia, Earth, Tartarus, underworld, and Eros, desire, emerged. Now they're mixing myth. That's mythological. Okay. It is the state of emptiness, the ultimate gap. That was the mythological and cosmological void from a Greek perspective. Now it says the potential for creation. Deeply, chaos is the raw material of the universe, formless, yet filled with potential. It is the primordial soup from which divine order is produced, the cosmos. Interesting. Hidden order, hidden in disorder. In a modern scientific sense, chaos theory, it refers to systems that appear random but are governed by complex deterministic laws. That's not random if it's governed by complex deterministic laws that determines that it's not random. That's not random. It signifies that I don't even think there's any such thing as random, really. But we'll get into that in a later video. Remind me. It signifies that underlying patterns exist within unpredictable complex systems. How are you going to say
underlying patterns after you say um, random. That doesn't make any sense. But it does say order hidden in disorder. What you're calling disorder is not necessarily a disorder if it has a pattern to it. That's my point. Anyway, we're going to get into that in a later video. Transformation of the meaning of the context of chaos. In philosophy and psychology, chaos represents a necessary, terrifying, yet fertile state of disorder. You see what I'm saying? Like necessary, terrifying, and fertile state of disorder that precedes the emergence of new, higher forms of organization or personal growth. So subconsciousness. It's English, but it doesn't really make too much sense, you know. And so when it doesn't make sense like this, I can understand how English is the bastard language. English and Indo-European and Proto-Indo and all this other shit. We gotta keep going with our research, if you will. You know, it's just a start, beginning stage. Um, but that's what I have for now. I could do this for days, hours, days, months, and years. We're gonna pause it there. What I was trying to say is know yourself, you know, engage in knowledge, maybe take some time to look some things up, right? To look at it a little bit more deeper, right? Engage in karmic activities today, right? Notice the relationship between knowledge and truth and a little more depth. Maybe in the past you wouldn't look something up. Well, let me check something out. Let me Google this real quick. I know what the word the means. But let's look at the root meaning of the word the and see if I can absorb something a little bit more from the word the. I know what the word a means, but what is the root meaning of the word a? Let's work on building a bridge a little bit. Let's see if we can unpack a little bit more. Let's also notice that Scorpio's depth. The moon doesn't do the best there, but let's tap into our emotions and our feelings, maybe a little bit. Maybe it benefit us to look at things a little bit deeper. You know. Also, Aquarius. There's a planet that rules Aquarius. It's Uranus in the modern rulership, and it's Saturn. Right? Let's recognize that knowledge that we receive, or even the idea to question a thing, right, is valuable, and it's getting to the bag. You know, getting to the bag is not necessarily the receiving of the money. It's quite possibly the knowledge that comes to know how to get the bag. Amen.